Good afternoon, students. Today again I have come back with same chapter, the rat trap. Okay. So today we'll start from here. Come to the page number 37. Okay. Page number 37. We'll start from yesterday completed that persuasion. He said, but he loved to the it was not more. It was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and a new guest came in. But this time it was not the iron master. He had sent his daughter, apparently hoping that she would have better powers of persuasion than he himself. Okay, better power of persuasion. What is that? Persuasion means? Persuasion means to understand in a proper manner. Persuasion, judge, the capacity of judging people. Okay, so the persuasive power she had. Who had the better persuasive power? The person one who can guess characteristic quality of a person appearance. So Edla had having that quality which her father didn't. Iron Master didn't have that quality, persuasion quality. She entered followed by a valet. Okay, then the next question would come, who is valet? Valet is a person, male attendants, okay, male attendants, one who takes care everything, okay, male attendants, a male, one who takes care, valet, okay, valet means the male attendant, one who takes care, male servant you can also write, or assistant. It would be better to say assistant, okay, personal assistants who take care everything, especially clothing and appearance. This one must put it down. What? That especially he looks after for clothing and appearance. Let me continue after that. Okay. So carrying on his arm a big fur coat. Okay. She was not all pretty. Who's about that description coming? Edla. She was not at all pretty, but she modest and quiet. So this is the quality. It is inherent quality, modest and quiet. Shy also. In the forge everything was just as it had been earlier. In the evening the master blacksmith had his apprentice still sat on their bench. Master blacksmith, we earlier also introduced that he was introvert in nature, didn't talk too much. So he was there with his apprentice. Apprentice means trainees. And iron and the charcoal still glowed in the furnace. The same picture. The same picture again returned here. Okay. The same that a blacksmith was there waiting. Charcoal was there. The steel glowed. Next. The stranger had stretched himself out on the floor and lay with a piece of pig iron under his head and his hat pulled down over his eyes. As soon as the young girl caught sight of him, she went up and lifted his hat. The man was evidently used to sleeping with one eye open. So used to sleep the man with one eye open. He jumped up. When that Edla came inside, that time he hurried up and then he stood up and then jumped up abruptly, very strange manner, and seemed to be quite frightened, afraid. My name is Edla Wilmason. Now that Edla is introducing herself with the stranger, with that rat trapper, that my name is Edla, and my father came home and said that what you wanted to sleep here in the forest tonight, and then I asked permission to come and bring you home to us. I am so sorry, Captain, that you are having such a hard time. Okay. So see the first line, what she said. I am so sorry, Captain, that you are having a such hard time. So see that the quality of that the girl, that she was definitely modest given earlier. So she said that I am sorry that you are having such a hard time. She looked at him compassionately. Compassionately means kindly. Okay, compassionately, kindly, with her heavy. This is okay, kindly, with her heavy eyes. The man was afraid. Either he has stolen something or else he has escaped from jail, she thought. So she was thinking that either the person has stolen something or he has escaped from jail. So this line is the indication that definitely Edla had having the good persuasive quality. Earlier given na, the father also believed in her, that saying that you go then better, you can judge that guy. So definitely here that already he presumed that the person stolen something or else escaped from the jailbreaker. She thought and added, you may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just freely as you came. Only please stay with us over Christmas Eve. So he welcomed that guest to the Christmas Eve. She said this in such a friendly manner that the rat trap peddler must have felt confidence in her. So this is the quality. Any bad man, how he or she can be transformed, okay, into a good man. So this is that way of persuasion quality, way of motivating someone. So she said in a friendly manner that the rat trap peddler suddenly felt confidence in her. It would never have occurred to me that you would bother with me yourself, miss, he said. I will come at once. So he also agreed. He accepted the fur coat and which the valet handed over with a deep bow, and the three threw it over the racks and followed the young lady out of the carriage without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as a glance. But while he was riding up to the manor house, what happened? He had that evil forebodings. What that forebodings means? Forebodings means, write down, forebodings is any future events, which will take place is judged at the present. Okay, any evil forebodings. Why the devil did I take that fellow's money? Now he had been talking with himself that why did I taking the devil's that fellow's money, that means Cropter. Then now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. He was again thinking that same idea that I am trapped now like the rat trap, and this time I will never get it from it. The next day was Christmas Eve, and then when the iron master came into the dining room for the breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade whom he had run across so unexpectedly. So he was thinking that he was his friend. First of all, we must see that he gets a little flesh on his bones, that means food, and sat on his daughter and who was busy at the table. And when we must see that girl gets something else to do then to run about the country selling rat traps. Okay. Next, then see after what happened. It was very queer, very strange that things have gone downhill with him. What is that? Things have gone downhill with him. That means bad. Things went wrong. This is a phrase. This is an idiom. It means things went wrong. Things have gone downhill as badly. Said the daughter. Last night I didn't think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man. You must have patience, my little girl. The father said that as soon as he gets clean and dressed up, you will see something different. Last night he was naturally embarrassed, and the tramp manners will fall free from him with the tramp clothes. Just as he had said, in the door opened and the stranger entered. Just now he was truly clean and well dressed, because the valet had taken, what was the rule of the valet? To clean with the proper clothing. So he had come this time proper attire and the clothing, and he was totally a different man. See that the valet had bathed him, cut his hair and shaved him. These were his duties and he had done properly. Moreover, he was dressed in a good looking suit of clothes, which belonged to the iron master. He wore a white shirt and a starched collar and whole shoes. What was the dress code of that peddler? Now the rat trapper, totally different. White shirt, a starched collar. Starched means a detached collar. Starched collar. Okay, starched means what? That is a short type of collar, or the detached collar from the shirt that fastened to it both the sides. That is starched collar, and then whole shoes. But although his guest was now so well groomed, the iron master did not seem pleased. He looked at him with puckered brow. Okay, puckered means wrinkled. That means when the person become worried, concerned or angry, that brow becomes puckered. And it was easy to understand that when he had seen the strange fellow in the uncertain reflection from his furnace the night have made the mistake. Now he understood that he had committed a huge mistake. What mistake he had committed? That he had believed he had mistaken the person as his old regimental comrade. What name? Niels Olof. So he understood that this person is not his friend. the person is a different one. But that now, when he stood there with a broad daylight, it was impossible to mistake him from the old acquaintance. What does this mean? He thundered, very surprised with that the stranger made no attempt to dissimulate. Dissimulate means disguise. That time stranger, okay, made no attempt to dissimulate. Dissimulate means what? Disguise. He saw at once that the splendor had come to an end. He saw at once that the splendor, what is the splendor that he had come with? That white shirt and starch collar, whole shoes, a different one, different person. Now that splendor has gone down, okay, to an end. He thought also that I have been now identified properly. It is not my fault, sir, he said. I never pretended to be anything but a poor trader. I pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge. But no harm has been done. At worst, I can put on my rags again and go away. So he that time totally, what you can say, highlighted, totally what understood by others. Now he thought that I have been identified, then said that don't worry, I will not do any harm, and the worst that I can do, that I can take. Well, said the ironmaster, hesitating a little. It was not quite honest either, you must admit that, and I should not be surprised if the sheriff would like to have something to say in the matter. Very important word, sheriff. What the sheriff means? The chief administrative executive officer in a country, okay, one who works as administrative officer and judiciary function of the country. So here, who does that role in India? The police. And that country, the Sweden or the UK, USA, the sheriff. They look after the matter of that administrative also and judicial also. So he said that if the sheriff would like to have something to stay in the matter. So this was his what? This was his beforehand thinking that if I would be caught and howled to that police, then what would happen? And exactly happened the same here. The tramp took a step forward and struck the table with his fist. Okay, striking the table. Now I am going to tell you, Mr. Ironmaster, how things are. Now that he became what? Totally on the negative side. Now he was ready to identify himself. What was his identity? He was a rat trapper, he was a vagabond, and he was a thief. What he has said again, that the values come in his mind. What that this is the reality. What is the reality? That this whole world is nothing but a trap. Underline, all the good things that are offered to you are nothing but the cheese and the rinds and the beats of the frog set out to drag a poor fellow. Okay, rinds means what? A new word. Tough outer skin of any fruit, that is called rinds. Tough outer skins of any, set out to drag a poor fellow. Now he said the whole world is like a rat trap. Into a trouble, and if the sheriff comes now and locks me up for this, then you, Mr. Ironmaster, must remember that a day would come then when you yourself may want to get a big piece of pork one day, and then you will get caught in the trap. So one day me, the next day you. The day would come, so every people in this world would be trapped one day. This was his idea of judging the whole world. This was his idea of universal recognition. What the recognition? That not only the rats but the human beings also one day will be trapped. So if the sheriff would come and they locked me, then the next day you would go, and this is the way the whole world goes. This is the reality. The ironmaster began to laugh. That was not so badly said, my good fellow. Perhaps we should let the sheriff alone on the Christmas Eve better. But now get out here as fast as you can. So he was angry, definitely. He had totally mistaken that he was his old comrade. But just as the man was opening the door, the daughter said, Edla, I think he ought to stay with us today. I don't want him to go. Why? And with that she went and closed the door. What in the world are you doing? Said the father. Father was very angry. The daughter stood there and quite embarrassed and hardly knew what to answer. The morning she had felt so happy when she thought how homelike and Christmassy she was going to make things for the poor hungry wretch. Okay, that hungry wretch means that unfortunate incident. Now she could not get away from the idea all at once, and he was sigh with way that she had interceded for the vagabond. Why she had interceded for the vagabond? Interceded means what? To reconcile something between two people. Reconciliation means, to make understand something with the two people. So Edla was doing that. What? That you can say the middle person who was to balance both the side. One side her father, another side rat trapper. Understood? Let me continue after that. So better from here that interceded. I am thinking of his strange here, said the young girl. He walks and walks the whole year long, and there is probably not a single place in the whole country where he is welcome and can feel at home. Wherever he turns, he is chased away. All over, he was afraid of being arrested and cross-examined. I should like to have him enjoy a day of the peace with us here. I just want one in the whole year. The iron master mumbled something in his beard. Mumbling something means what? Biting something. And then he couldn't bring himself to oppose her. It was all mistake, of course, he continued. But anyway, I don't think we ought to chase away a human being whom we have asked to come here and to whom we have promised Christmas cheer. Now it was Edla's role, because Edla's humbleness, Edla's kindness, all actually had coming into the front to the father. So she had been trying hard to what? She had hard to make him understand. The young girl took the stranger by the hand and led to it. What happened then after that? The Christmas cheer. Now the line is there that you do preach worse than a parson. What that word, that parson means here? That word is a chief head priest in a church. Parson is a head or the chief priest in a church. So you do preach. Preach means what? Spreading one religion. Worse than, bad than a parson does. Said the iron master, I only hope that you won't have to regret this. The young girl looked the stranger by the hand and they led him to the table, and now sit down and eat, she said, for the could see that her father had given in. The man with his rat trap said not a single word. He only sat down and held himself to the food time and time after. What was happening? He looked at the young girl who had interceded for him. Okay, interceded, again that reconciliation, that channelization, interceded. Why had she done it, and what could the crazy idea be? Okay, next, continue after that. After that Christmas Eve at the Ramsjo Pass, just as always had, the stranger did not cause any trouble because he did nothing but the sleep. The whole forenoon he lay on the sofa in one of the guest room. He slept on the stretch, and noon they woke up, and so that he could have him share of the good Christmas fare. But after that he slept again. What happened? It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here Ramsjo. So he was happy even though he slept very quietly and safely at that Ramsjo. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again, and he stood for a while in the drawing room, blinking as though and the candlelight hurt him. But after that he disappeared again. 2 hours later he was aroused once more, again moved. Then he said he had to go into the dining room and eat the Christmas feast and the porridge. Okay, Christmas tree was lighted, it was Christmas tree, then he was drawn towards it. 2 hours later he was aroused from there, and then he had gone down, and then he wanted that the Christmas feast and the porridge. Okay, for today's class up to here, and then tomorrow we'll continue. Any more question? Ask me. What made the paddler accept the Edlam Williamson invitation? What made that was the persuasive quality, and the way the girl interceded, the way she behaved, the way she had believed, the way she had given that motivational strings, that peddler was totally, what you can say, satisfied. So these were the qualities of a person. She had that having better persuasive quality rather her father. So the people sometimes we are drawn towards the personality. If you have having the good personality, then we are drawn into it. Okay, we are drawn towards it. So this is that simple things, that she had that better persuasive quality. Okay, any more question? Then ask me. What doubts did the Iron Master recalls his mistake? What doubts did the Iron Master realize his mistake? Doubts he had after that broad daylight, when he had seen that this was not his old regimental comrade, his friend Neil Solo. That time he understood. Doubts had come when that is given clearly. Let's see that what is given here. That when he was come in the day broad light, when he had that having that the face, when he had seen his face, that time only. When question is very strange here. When that that rat trapper had come with proper shaving, proper clothing, that time it was revealed. So it was not at all. He understood that this was not his comrade friend, old regimental friend. It was who? The person who had a vagabond, one who's coming and moving from one place to another. Any more question? Ask me. When did the Iron Master realize his mistake? This one done. Any more question? When did the Iron Master realize his mistake? Iron Master realized his mistake at the time it was revealed that this was not his friend, this was a vagabond, and he himself acknowledged, who? The rat trapper, that I'm a vagabond. Okay, anytime I'd be caught with the sheriff, no problem. Whole world is like a rat trap. Any more question? Then ask me. Okay, any other students is being with me? Then ask me any doubt. Read the text, because the text is long, so many words are there, it's really tough. So any problem, then ask me. One picture I'll show you. The manor house was given. The manor house, he was drawn towards the manor house. Okay, that picture I'll show now. Manor house picture. See that the picture, manor house picture. This is called manor house. See picture I'll show you. Associate. This is manor house. Large house with encircled with the garden. Okay. So any more doubts? Ask me quickly. Tomorrow we'll complete the text. You know that the CBSE has deleted few of the chapters, like the Tiger King, Journey to the End of the Earth, okay, Roadside Stand. So these are the deleted chapters. CBSE 2 days ago, an official notice has come that the chapters that will not be included this session 2021. The chapters are the Tiger King, Journey to the End of the Earth, Roadside Stand, and few writing portion like that, drafting poster, and all the business letters. There is a speech also. So it's definitely you will be notified that one. These chapters will not be included. So this is there in that rat trap in the portion, and it's important chapter because the few chapters are left out. So this is the important chapter and Flamingo book. Anyway, it is important. So any more question, then ask me. What did the paddlers in his defense when it was clear that he was the person the Iron Master had thought he was? What did the paddlers in his defense? The paddler was, you can say, the paddler was totally, you can say, what that? Highlighted. So when he was highlighted, when he was open, you know that what that open means? He started recognizing himself that he is definitely a vagabond, and then is given here that see that portion that he was a vagabond, and then he had said what he had said, that the whole world is like a rat trap. Okay, and then he had struck the table with his fist. He had struck the table with his fist, and he said that I pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge, and then whole world is like a rat trap. So he did not attempt to dissimulate. Must write down. He did not attempt to disguise himself. He knew that his splendor had come to an end. Page number 39, you can follow, then you will get the answer. So he said that never pretended to be anything but a poor trader, and pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge, and then said that whole world is like a rat trap, and then every person would one day will be trapped. So this is the answer. He was highlighted, he was open, and he acknowledged himself that he was a vagabond, and then if he would be trapped by the sheriff, then the one day it would come, then the whole person, everyone, all human beings would be trapped. If today's me, then tomorrow you. So in defense, this was his reply. Any more doubt? You must write that he did not disguise, and he recognizing himself and said that whole world is like a rat trap. Okay, so he had nothing to lose because he was. Why did Edla still entertain the peddler when she knew the truth about him? It's a good question. It's a values question. This is the quality of a person. Edla by nature, even though apparently she was not good at all, not pretty at all, is given, but she was modest, she was polite, she had that persuasive quality, and she had that kindness. So what she had said, she said in her defense, she said that you are welcomed in our house, even though she knew that the person is looks like that, what? Either she is like a vagabond, or she has come after breaking the jail. So this was his persuasive power, is given in the text clearly. She assumed that either she is a vagabond or she had come out after breaking the jail. So this was his nature, that even though it was revealed by her father that this was not his old regimental comrade but a vagabond, that time also Edla believed that person. So if you are a good human being, if you know the other person is bad, you start believing, you start motivating that one. So you can say Edla still encouraged the guy who had belong to that class of thievery or the vagabond, he believed in him. Why? Because he wanted that the one day any bad person can be transformed to a good one. This is the difference between Edla and her father. Any more question? Any more doubt? Then ask. That's why still entertain. Good question. Puneet asked that one. That question is very. That's why still entertaining, because he knew that one day that bad person also can be transformed into a good person. Because she was a modest, she was compassionate in nature. Make it short answer when you will write 2 marks. Make it short one, because it is 2 marks question. It is not values or the long question. Okay, no problem. Then other students being with me. Then any question then ask me. Then I'll sum up today's class. Tomorrow I'll continue, and tomorrow complete that text rack trap, because it is included in the CBSE. It is not deleted one. It's important one. Okay. Read the text in the house again. Any confusion, then ask me tomorrow. Okay, I'm summing up today's class. Thank you students for being with me. Have a nice day. Bye.